Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I don't need any more motorcycles, let alone another mini bike, but after spending some time at the Barber Motorsports event a few weeks ago, I fell in love with the 2022 Honda Grom, and when I got back in town here in Florida, put out calls to the local dealerships to let me know as soon as they get one. And my friends at Melbourne Honda, Luke, gave me a call. Within 10 minutes I was there at the shop, and within the hour I owned this awesome black 2022 Honda Grom. So I've got big plans for this bike, and I've never owned a Grom. For as much mini moto as I've got going on in my garage, I've tried most other bikes, but never happened to own one of these. I did have a few occasions that I got pretty close to getting one that never worked out, and I'm glad that's the case because I'm really glad to get this newer version that has some upgrades that I'm excited about. And since the engine is somewhat new, I really like that process of waiting for vendors to come out with new items and getting to test them out, and I'm looking forward to displaying all of those here on this channel. So I don't know too much about this bike. Obviously, for the most part, it's very similar to the Monkey that I have, and it's not too different than the previous version Grom. There's a few small things that I'll go over, and I also plan on bringing over Buddy's Grom to do a deep dive comparison between the two, and I've got a ton of upgrades planned for this. When I was at the Barber Small Bore event, the bikes that Steady Garage brought really inspired me, and while I probably will never have them looking quite as wild as those bikes, I have been in touch with them and plan to do a lot of the cool things they had on some of those, as well as things from other vendors as they come out with new items for this bike. So obviously the Grom has tons of aftermarket support. There's been over 750,000 of these sold, probably more than any other mini moto bike here in the United States. I think the 750,000 number is probably worldwide, but around town you see quite a few Groms, and I'm really excited to dig into this one and build it up into something really cool. So off the bat, some of the things that I know are different on this bike. One, the engine is, I heard, slightly bored out and has a slightly longer stroke. Most importantly though, it has a 5-speed transmission, which honestly, driving this home wasn't a noticeable difference, but I think once it starts making more power, that 5th gear will become much more important to the rideability of this bike. Also, the display is much improved. It now has a gear indicator on it. On my Monkey, for instance, I did add a gear indicator with the Takagawa speedometer that I installed, but that's based off of RPM and speed, whereas this is an actual mechanism inside the engine that correctly shows all of the different gears. The wheels are different this year. I really like these 5-spoke wheels, a little less busy than the previous model. And the fairings and the seat are quite a bit different. They've got these really big, distinct washers. Supposedly very easy now to take off the fairings so that you can get to the internals. And again, I plan on doing quite a bit of work to this bike, so that's nice because I remember working on my friend's previous generation Grom. It was quite an ordeal to get all of the plastics off to get into the internals to start working on them. But the main fairing here just has these 3 bolts, and this smaller fairing here also just 3 bolts, and then you can get in. The seat shape is also different. It's much flatter now instead of that hump seat where it kind of had a distinctive position for a 2-up rider. So more comfortable where you can sit either very forward or much further back on the seat without that strange feeling of being somewhere in between. Off the bat, some of the things that I'm looking to upgrade on this bike: the handlebar assembly has a little bit to be desired. It's really high and looks a little bit goofy. I've seen some really cool options there. I've already ordered the Yoshimura full exhaust system for this bike. The tail, like every Honda where there's this legal requirement to have it go beyond the rear tire, looks ridiculous, so definitely need to clean that up. I really like that G-Craft rear swing arm that I saw on the Steady Garage bikes. The original one, it looks just fine and it's painted, but it's just so blocky and doesn't really have any shape. Again, that's pretty much just aesthetic, but something that I'm looking to change. And then we'll figure out again in the engine, as manufacturers come out with big bore kits and 4-cylinder heads and other items for this bike, how much power we can make out of it. I will try to get it on the dyno before I start doing any power modifications so we can get a good baseline, and then as I do the upgrades, get it on the dyno so that you guys can see exactly how much power each one of these performance upgrades are making. So anyway, I didn't want to make this video too long, just wanted to introduce you guys to this new bike and how excited I am with the big plans that are in store as I start upgrading it. I know there's probably a bigger Grom community than there is for the Monkey or the CT70 or some of those other bikes, which I'll still be working on. I'm actually doing quite a bit on all of those bikes off camera that I need to catch up on some of these videos that I'm putting together. But one more project to add and take up more of my time and hopefully keep you guys entertained. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe below, stay tuned for more videos, and keep on building.